Why play Nocturne Jungle? Well, his ultimate easily picks off carries. He is a strong duelist, he has great mobility and chase down, and he can snowball games hard. However, he is reliant on his ultimate for impactful ganks, and his fear lockdown is not guaranteed. Nocturne's passive is periodically his next basic attack will deal damage in a circle, dealing bonus damage and healing himself. Basic attacks will reduce the cooldown, and basic attacks against enemy champions reduce it even more. Nocturne's Q is a straight line skill shot, which deals damage to enemies hit and leaves a trail in its wake. Enemy champions hit by this will also leave a trail behind them for 5 seconds. While Nocturne's on this trail, he becomes ghosted and gains bonus attack damage and movement speed. Nocturne's W has a passive where he gains a large amount of bonus attack speed. The active grants him a spell shield for 1.5 seconds, and if he successfully blocks an enemy's ability with this, he gains a large burst of attack speed. Nocturne's E has a passive where he gains 90% bonus movement speed while facing feared targets. The active is a point and click ability where he tethers himself to the target, dealing damage over 2 seconds. If the tether is not broken during this time, the target becomes feared and are slowed by 90%. Nocturne's ultimate has 2 parts to it. The first part near sights all enemy champions on the entire map. This means the distance they can see is massively reduced. The reactivation is a point and click ability which causes Nocturne to dash to the target, dealing damage upon arrival. For combos, start Q and then use E when your opponent can't easily break the tether. Use W to block a key ability and spam away with attacks. When you have ult, start with ult, using W if needed while traveling to block the first ability. From here, use Q and E before spamming away with attacks. For matchups, Nocturne is amazing into squishier junglers who he can easily ultimate onto and blow up, and he can struggle into tankier junglers who he can't do that to. For runes, take this. Conqueror with Ultimate Hunter is amazing. For build order, start Red Monster and Pot into a Stride Breaker in tier 2 boots. After this, a Hex Plate and Black Cleaver are amazing pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start Q then W then E before maxing Q then E then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Smite. Starting the game, you have a few different options. The safest option is always to do a full jungle clear to maximize your gold and experience, and this puts you in a great spot to fight for Scuttle Crab. You can gank earlier if you want to, but I would highly recommend just doing the full clear to get to your level 6 as fast as possible. A massive amount of Nocturne's power is in his ultimate. Being able to engage in your opponent from multiple screens away is incredibly strong, especially when you hit level 6. So, while power farming, think about who you want to use your first ultimate on to gain maximum value. Entering the mid game, as the jungler, your main focus is going to be on objectives. Nocturne with his ultimate is amazing at getting picks. So, farm hard, look for isolated champions, pick them off and convert into objectives. Entering late game team fights, you almost want to play the assassin role. Whether it's after the team fight starts, or even if it's to start the team fight, ultimate onto a backline squishy. With your Q, fear and damage, you easily stick onto them, shredding them before turning on the rest of the team. And that's how to play Nocturne Jungle. If this video helped you, leave it a like and comment below who you want to see next.